could probably pee quick.
Yeah.
You already get started?
Yep. I did.
Exactly.
What's going on, everybody? Tuned into the live stream again. On the road to Contact in the Desert, the largest UFO conference in the entire world. It's pretty cool. I know we didn't warn anybody, but yeah, we are now face to face. You'll see Jaychilla in a second. He is depositing some liquids back into the physical economy of the Earth. And by that I mean he is taking a piss. But yeah, what's up? We're in SoCal right now. We're gonna get ready to go to Contact on Thursday. They proclaim it to be the largest UFO conference in the world, so we're excited about that. All the big names are gonna be there. JJ Hurtak, Chris Bledsoe. Anybody you can think of. Jeremy Corbell. Anybody you can think of, they're gonna be there. If you are going to be there, let us know in the comments. That'd be cool. We'd like to see you. We actually are going to have a booth. We're going to be manning the Rancher booth. So if you're going to go out there, stop by. Come say hi. You'll actually be able to have a conversation with us. We will be live streaming from there. So you might have an opportunity to tune in and be a guest on the actual live stream. So if you're going there, hit us up. Or if you live in your area, hit us up. And we're just going to kind of flesh out some concepts. What the heck is the ET question, the main concept to try to tackle, and what are the nuances when it comes to their visitation? What are the different nuances when it comes to how they appear to us, how they show up in our atmosphere? Is there different types of these, like referring to the Immaculate Constellation documents? Are there different types of crafts, or do these beings use crafts at all? Could they appear to us just inherently based off their personality powers they have inherently within their personality? So we know that certain cosmic beings can traverse the universe just on their own. They don't need a craft. So if we see these orbs as opposed to these like physical discs, what is differentiation? Are they using different means of propulsion? Or are they using the same means of propulsion, but one is mechanical and one is more of a natural biological form that a celestial being has? You know, these are all questions, important questions that we must ask and answer if we want to understand the entire cosmic hierarchy. Like I said, we will be running the Rancher booth because we talk about the Rancher a lot. We're one and the same company, same cloth, so we believe that this book has high forms of cosmic philosophy. You should definitely go check it out. The link is in many of the descriptions of our videos. Nothing's in this one, but we'll make sure we update that before the end of it. That's what we'll be representing out there. We feel like a lot of people can benefit from just studying the text, studying the fifth epochal revelation and understanding how much more detailed the cosmos is than just, ships and ETs visiting us. You know, that is a question that we all have, but what are they here for? What is their purpose? What is their motivation? Have they been interacting with us throughout history? These are the questions that we should be asking, and these are the answers that we should be looking for, because just knowing that they show up in crafts in our atmosphere isn't enough to satiate us, to quench our thirst. It isn't enough. We need to know what kind of cultures they come from, what kind of languages they speak, what happened throughout their history, how did they come to be, what is their planetary history, how did they relate to us, are we somehow genetic cousins with them? All these questions, you know, I guess you could say they're kind of just up for debate in the sci-fi world, but it's something more than just a sci-fi question. It's reality. So that's why we're having this conversation, and that's why we're doing the podcast. And welcome back to Jaychilla. Welcome back. How was
Yo.
Cheers.
Well,
You know what happens when you're drinking Coronas? Just goes through you. No. We did a little live stream like 2 hours ago to kind of get ready, get loose. Now we got a little bit cooler of a background on the stream, better lighting, a little bit better setup. Everything's progressive. The universe is evolutionary. I grew up with the story that everything used to be perfect, and then there was the fall of man. You've probably heard that story. And later, I figured out that there's a distortion in that story, and it really creates a bad perspective on the purpose of the universe. It makes you think that the universe was created perfect, but then free will beings messed it up, and now everything's bad. Where in actuality, the universe is created imperfect with the goal of becoming perfected over time. And so, and it's specifically like a sandbox created for free will beings to play in. And it's like this whole playground that we've been given. And that's the whole universe. And there's many civilizations playing together. Now, we also know that when you're playing in the sandbox, some kids want to stamp on your sandcastle, and that's free will. They don't know why they shouldn't stomp on the sandcastle. It just seems kind of fun in the moment, like, oh, so you built that, and I'll destroy that. And what's crazy is that, sometimes that's part of the game. Both the person that built the sandcastle, the kid, they enjoy that struggle, and they also reciprocate. And it's like when kids play creation and destruction. They build things and take things apart. But then there's other times when the kid is proud of what they built, and another kid comes in with their free will and takes it apart, and then the other kid's like crying. This is an analogy for the universe. That is what we are in. But now the purpose of it all is to actually, for each of those individual kids to discover the meaning of why they should or shouldn't build or tear down the sandcastle house that they built. And it's that meaning that matters, and you cannot get to the meaning without the experience. So that's why we have such a free range of choices in our experience. Because we're trying to discover the meaning behind the experience, the mental values that actually reciprocate into eternity. And we're testing that out. It's the lab of the universe, and the lab of God, and all the hierarchy of intelligent beings who are participating as well.
I like that. The lab of God. It's one cosmic experiment, cosmic sandbox. And yes, sometimes kids get rowdy, and they kick over each other's sandcastles. Sorry, that's just what happens. Like I made a joke earlier, for Hitler and the Nazis, obviously, very. It's an easy subject, easy topic to get laughed or to be an edgelord. I'm not trying to be an edgelord, but I'm trying to paint a vivid picture. It's a funny analogy. Kids in the sandbox. The Holocaust, people dying. We're not trying to schmooze over all of these weird events as if they're just times. It just happens. We have hearts, but you must realize that when free wills are allowed to truly be free, then that means they have complete authority and sovereignty over themselves, and they can choose to use their free will to stamp yourself. That's unfortunate. It doesn't mean that's how God is sitting back and getting some weird pleasure from it while watching his kids fight. He truly loves us because he gave us complete sovereign free will over ourselves. That's how much he loves you. He loves you so much that he gave you the choice to turn away from him. And that's a big choice from a parental point of view, to give your kid that much autonomy. Because if that weren't the case, then that means we would have to only look towards him. We would be forced to go towards him. We'd be more like robots. So in order for us to not be like robots, there needs to be the capacity or the potential to choose against the negative. And that allows this interesting form of non-autonomy. And it's a beautiful gift. And like I said, we're not trying to say that everything bad that happens is just a sandbox, but it is the free will sandbox. I do like what you said about progress, though. The people saw it in real time right here. You saw the first slide from a couple hours ago. A little janky, not too bad, but look at that. A couple hours later, and the Planetary HQ Legacy Boys got the next iteration out already. So that's when it comes to us building anti-grav UFOs, everything. If we're going to put our minds to it, we're going to progress 1%. You're going to look this way. Oh, that's cool. I like what they're doing. Look over here. Oh, wow. And then look back and go, oh, shit, yeah. They're moving fast. Look back, jump back around. Holy fuck. So that's us. Speed light, moving at the speed of light, moving at the speed of space. There you go. Think about that for a second. But thank you for tuning into Live. This is the first one we have done together, face to face. So I'm excited about that. More to come, obviously. Once we get that building and that barracks, and we get all you guys in here so we can get that Mind Body Spirit routine popping together. It's going to be sick. But thanks for tuning in. Going to the biggest UFO conference in the world. If you are a subscriber, we're going to talk about some crazy shit. There is no routine. There is no itinerary tonight. It is a cosmic road trip we're going to talk about. We're going to try to talk about the crazy shit, but also relate it back to the normal shit. By normal, I mean contact in the desert. Because shout out to my freaking Zebulon Lee Zormalabs. I'm wearing a Xenomorph shirt right now. Camera can see that. There you go. That's Da Vinci and Alien Baby. We just having fun out here. I'm actually a little bit talk about it.
Yeah, and we got Strong Bear in the chat. What up? He said, D-Big, Tyler is pretty freaking cool. I'm actually Taylor. There is a Tyler, though. I didn't think I was seeing the lab tonight. Actually, it's like 1 a.m. here. Shout out to Strong Bear, staying up late, tuning in live. Right now, you might be our sole viewer here. But it's cool. We like to think like, what we're doing right now is practice for the future. It's ever-evolving progress. It keeps us on our toes. Spitballing. I used to be like, before I do a podcast, I need an outline. What am I going to talk about? And, D-Big's more on the fly. He's just like, let's go, let's spitball. And so, through that process, we riff off each other, we vibe. Like, think about it, all the concepts that you ingested still exist somewhere in your head, in your memory. You are like an LLM, a ChatGPT, taking all that data, and it's there in your context. But you have to practice being able to like spit it out live and converse with it. And that's a creative thing. It's a fun thing. It's both a skill and an art.
Shout out to Magma.
And so that's what we're doing right now. We're kind of vibing. We're trying to. It's practice, and also maybe this is an asset that lives on for years on the YouTube channel, and it is valuable later on. When people come back to the fact and listen to it. So yeah, like. You would be surprised that if you were to start your YouTube channel about something that you have a passion about, and you just kind of go and just do it, and you learn along the way, and that's literally, that's evolution, that's progression in a nutshell. And at the end of the day, part of what we're doing, I don't know, some of it's for our sake. We feel kind of mission-oriented and upgrading the planet and contributing to society instead of just complaining about the conditions that we're in. So yeah, this is our social input, our social service, and we try to have fun with it. We try to mix, mind, body, spirit, triosophy. We think that for all the seriousness that we might come out with when we're talking about aliens and how to manage this intergalactic, process. We also going to have humor, 30% seriousness, 30% humor, 30%, BS, messing around, just time in between. I guess that's 60%.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, that's hilarious you said that. Because, that's me. 60% BS. No, you guys know me. 50-50, we try to go back and forth. Exactly what you're talking about. Damn. You said something that's gnarly. got my mind thinking over here. When you talk, I start seeing images, and it's like a holographic. I don't know if people can see. I start looking up, and it's like a I got the IMAX theater in your world, and I can smell it, I can taste it. But you're talking about preparation. And there's a lot of different angles I want to get about this concept. It's like, first of all, my father told me, fail into affairs preparing to fail. So you have to practice. And too many people talk about shit. Anybody can talk about doing something. We should start a podcast. We should do this. We should go here. We should do this one day. It's only like a conversation piece and a figment of your imagination, and it never becomes manifest or externalized. The only way to manifest it and externalize it, guess what, guys, is to move your body in time and space. You gotta connect cables, you gotta set up lights and cameras, and then you gotta sit down and say, oh, fuck, we really gotta do this. So, like, this is part of our obligation to mission, like Tejo said, but we would be lying because if we said it wasn't for ourselves in some aspect too. Not in a egotistical way, it's just for training. It's never egotistic to train to want to get better. And especially if it's trying to get better to help other brothers and sisters, that's what you're supposed to do. So like, what I'm trying to say is, in order to truly self-actualize, you need to do action in time and space. You need to train. You can't just talk about shit. I know it's said 100. People have said it a million different ways. Talk is cheap. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Walk the walk, just talk. There's a million different phrases and colloquialisms we can talk about. Which we can just say it, but they don't really have value. It makes sense. But we want to dive into it, man. You have to actually get these concepts in your head, pull them down to the physical reality, and then manifest and reflect into the physical reality. Because our planet is nothing but an economy of thought, an economy of concepts, an economy of... In the live stream?
Oh, this is a bad echo. You don't think it doesn't the room echo? You think it sounds like something in the way it's set up?
Someone just commented.
Is it because we have two mics next to each other? Can you hear us in both mics?
I don't know.
That's weird. We didn't change any settings. Did we?
You can hear the monitor. The monitor. You hear it?
I'm gonna grab my AirPods, listen to my phone. Thanks for sticking with us. We're troubleshooting some audio things for you guys.
My sound is echoing terribly.
Do you have voice meter and a Discord audio channel going? I mean, like, I wonder if we're feeding it two versions.
Oh my god.
You do?
Yeah, is that better? It was capturing audio from my camera at the same time.
Oh, the audio from the...
Is that better, guys? That should be better. Sorry about that. Well, only a couple minutes into it. What is it, like 40?
I should have checked it right away. That's why we always do. To the actual thing.
Yeah. Well, what's it sound like? Hopefully it sounds a little bit better because we accidentally had two audio channels going. We had audio coming from the camera and the audio coming from our mics. Is that the text? You just sent a chat. I can't see the chat from your other video. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fixed now, though.
All right.
We're only 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
No, we're 20 minutes in.
It's all right. Sorry about that, guys. Learning technical difficulties. Does it sound terrible? In the beginning. Sorry, he's monitoring it on his phone right now so he can hear it. Our fault. Well, bear with us like we were just talking about learning in space. Like practicing, you know, we never figured this out without trying it and doing it. So that's part of self-actualization, is actually getting out there and getting your hands dirty. You don't just want to be book smart about something. You have to actually be in the field. Like, how many of you guys would trust somebody if they only went to a classroom to learn about something but had never actually touched the item they're studying in the field? You wouldn't trust that person. So like, you need to have experience. We can't just talk about these things. UFOs and God and spirituality and meditation, becoming a better person, these aren't just abstract thoughts we think. These are realities we must manifest on the face of planet Earth. So that's why I like what you're talking about, like the training aspect. We're practicing right now, understanding there's a camera audio coming while we have microphone audios, so that in the future we'll be in a better position, better prepared to help our brothers and sisters learn about this truth that we're talking about. And we only get better by practicing, I guess I got lucky because my parents put me in public speaking when I was young, and my dad was in the Marines, so I moved a lot and I had to make best friends all the time, moving around states constantly. So I kind of got used to it, but that was my practice and training. But I still learn by talking to people, like we were talking about this earlier, like anxiety. Like I mean, I'm not, everybody learns. I'm not like some superhuman, but there are aspects of reality that push me to my limits, that make me feel not anxious or nervous, but like, oh, this is something you got to work on. So the only way you're going to mitigate that is by doing action in time and space. And I'm warning you right now, when you start trying to manifest the kingdom that we're talking about, all these spiritual aspects, trying to externalize them and help other people also get on the same wavelength, you will be put in positions that put you in anxious modes and scenarios, but the only way to get over it is repetition. The first time, second time, third time, you're going to fuck up. You're going to mess up like we just did right now. And you're going to feel weird. I mean, in the beginning, once you get used to it, you're not going to feel weird anymore. You're going to be like, that's part of the process. But the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th time, maybe even 50th time, then you'll get good. And then you become a master at what they say, like 1,000th time, 1,000-hour rule or whatever. 10,000-hour rule, whatever the number is. You get the point I'm trying to make. So like what you said, like you have to practice, and that's what you see us doing right here. And I hope that you can see us in real time doing it. And with the conversation topics that we're talking about, you can wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what? My time to shine, baby. Give me the limelight, and I'm going to act. I'm not just going to think. So that's what we always say. When you watch these videos, go out and act, baby. And guess what my next action is? Eating the next slice of pizza.
Yeah. And yeah, shout out to the stranger Michael in the chat. Thank you for pointing out the audio. And also, yeah, Strong Bear, sorry. I gotta say, bro, you dropped the ball. I don't know if you're still watching, but you had your chance to let us know the audio was bad. You gotta remember, speak your truth. Speak up. This live stream audio sucks. Fix it, please.
Don't be afraid to let us know.
Don't be afraid.
I got something for you guys. This is actually just in. I just channeled a celestial right now. They put me on some new shit. Like I want to know what your guys. You can't really see it, but this is a pepperoni pizza slice. And now it looks like a cheese slice. These motherfuckers, Britzio in Lake Forest, California, they put their pepperoni under the cheese layer. I know, right? Like, fuck UAPs, dog. This should be on front page news. Who puts the pepperoni under the cheese layer? That's pretty sick, man.
That's probably a good analogy for how the government has been trying to hide the flying saucers. They put it under the cheese, on top of the sauce.
You're a fucking idiot.
They've been hiding this for 80 years, doing the same trick. This one trick will make you not believe that UFOs and aliens are not real. The pepperoni's right under the cheese. And what we're here to tell you tonight is how to peel away that cheese without damaging the layers. We're going to extract these pepperoni saucers from the middle layer and bring it to the public. This is contact in the desert. What do you think we're here to do?
Honestly, I've been waiting for you to bring this up for a while. I did a lot of research. And if you look up like the top companies that make thickening agents for cheese, it's like Raytheon, DuPont, and it's in front of our eyes the entire time, dude. They put the layer over the saucer pepperonis, and that's why you can't see it. In Tejon Ranch, they have RCS facilities that are retractable underneath the ground. That's an exact analogy for the cheese over the pepperoni. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, guys. It's funny. Shout out to pizza. Shout out to UFOs.
We got into SoCal yesterday like super late, so we got that jet lag. We got to bed, woke up. We even took naps today, but I'm still tired. And now it's 11:30, but we're still practicing. Trying to go hard in the paint here and prepare.
Oh, this is my favorite type, dude. Don't get D-baked like this. When he starts crying and laughing and having fun, now you know we're gonna have some fun, baby. We needed that pizza analogy to bring us back to reality. We were getting a little bit too fucking contact in the deserty. Need a crystal up my ass. No, we need to bring it back to reality. Thank you. Shout out to the pizza. But for real, progress. Train, prepare, stop thinking about shit, create shit. That's what we did with the fucking channel, right? We were like thinking about shit.
Yeah, if you go back to like the first kind of podcast with me and D-Bake, I think we called it a cosmic road trip. And like I had thought about doing content for like a year or two before then, you know, to kind of talk about the stuff. And, you know, D-Bake's the one that kind of got me out there to actually do it. And it's kind of because, you know, I'm like an overthinker. I'm a perfectionist. And that helps me in some of my work. Like I can create some really badass, like technical things with many layers. And, you know, with music, with art, with business. But, you know, when it comes to like doing things off the cuff, stream of consciousness, you know, maybe it kind of holds me back a bit. And it did. And, you know, I had to learn through that. I had to be like, okay, we're doing this off the cuff. There's not like a plan. And now we're comfortable. We've gotten past the social anxiety, and that's like step one. Step two is sort of like, okay, we add a little bit of drive. We learn each other's kind of skills, the kind of in and out, the ebb and the flow, the sine wave pattern, the up and the down of like every segment of each topic that we go into. It's that inspiration flow. And I realized, this is the mental image. This is a form of art. Stream of consciousness in coordination with another consciousness.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, that's like teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. Yeah, brotherhood, sisterhood, real time working together. That's
real time. Yeah, it's not. We're not sending emails in a chat like every hour. Like I respond, or a day later I get back to you. It's like, damn, we're live. We're on the hook.
That's crazy. So I'm wondering if like the seraphim and the angels think like that in real time. They're always adapting to situations. Like they thought new thoughts appeared in United States and California. New thoughts appeared in the Middle East, and they have to like, you know, like it's like working on set for a film. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of moving parts.
Oh yeah.
And you got to always be like ready for new shit coming at you, and lighting and camera angles and cables and, you know, movement. It's like, what if when you get to like one of those high cosmic working parties, it's like that 24/7, and you got like star energies coming at you from different angles, like this system. Oh no, the group of people in the Middle East are killing each other. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, some fairy tales going off in my mind. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you feel alive in those moments, right? People in the military say they feel alive in those combat moments. It's kind of weird. Like humans have an aspect of when they like being in real time, learning the rhythms. It's like fishing. Jesus was a fisherman, or was Jesus a shrimper? No. You know, he could, like, you're talking about us learning each other's spiritual rhythms. Everything has a rhythm. Everything has a frequency. It's all about frequencies and vibration. But like the fish had a rhythm, and he learned it. He learned the fish when they went to sleep, and they came in and out and became one with the fish rhythm, you know? Like everything has that. And when you do it in real time, it's almost like you're like a scientist observing the universe in real time, raw. And you're like, do you have the ability to jive with the rhythms? You know, can you fuck?
Data analysis
yeah.
in retrospect versus like live decision making.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, can you be like a live instrument and retrieve that data in real time while you're an instrument at the same time and adapt? Now you're functioning, dog.
Yeah.
You know.
Like it's like, so okay, a lot of people have regrets and they spend time in their head thinking like, oh, if only I would have did the situation like this, and then they play out the different version that would have happened, and they're like, oh snap, I could have been killer in that moment, I could have got it, or I could have fixed the problem. And it's always in retrospect thinking. And so that's what we're talking about. We're like, the skill of the life itself, the art of living is the dynamic reaction in real time. Like you take you get insights about how you could have done something differently, but then you need to iterate that the next time you're live. Like the next time you're in the situation, if you don't press play on that new concept, you failed.
Yes.
And then you gotta try again. And literally the only thing that's like in between there is the time it takes you to act on the next iteration.
Exactly. Or stagnate.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
That's when the Uranus
time is stagnation.
Stagnate or be dynamic. Remember they talk about like that. We can't pull quotes right now, but day after day is just life or the opposite of death. And they're talking about stagnating, and it's almost like from the cosmic perspective that state we were just talking about, that real world, real time dynamic adaptation to data input and outputting responses to that data set. That is dynamic. That's living truth. That's living God. And Jesus talked about that living water, that living truth that wells up within. But most people stagnate. They like you said, they just want to sit back and analyze data, which is good. I mean, we need data. Like the fact of reality is always going to be there. You can't deny that. So data gathering is important, but you can get stuck to only that and miss out on the real time input and output of reality. And that to me seems like it's like almost like you're tasting the supreme right there. Like you're tongue deep in the supremes. Ice cream cake. Like there's something about it. And me, you can taste it off my personality. I strive for that. I love it. I call that like the spice of life. We talk about the art of living. What about the spice of life too, And what if this is a measurable function from ET craft?
The spice of life is a measurable function.
yeah.
Yo, coming in hot. Yo, this UFO's on a vibe.
No, like, yes, but in this kind of way, like, they could measure people who operate in that time-space vibration as opposed to people who stagnate, and that will draw them in. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are operating on that real-time wave. Like their tongue is deep in the Supremes Coke can. You know what I mean? Like these guys are on the front line of in gathering data and adapting and reacting in real time constantly. And every time they have a new thought, they need to iterate it then and there and keep putting trial and error until they perfect it, until they perfect everything, as opposed to like, just an average human being. Now we're talking high now. We're talking like cosmic citizens. Now let's bring it back to the 21st century Earth. People do dumb shit over and over again for 15 years, 5 years, like they don't dry themselves off when they get out of the shower and there's water all behind them and they don't learn to do it. That's a low form, but
they ain't use washcloths.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like they could easily just, they're waiting 15 years between iterating the next thought form. They're stagnating, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's a function that's measurable. And the space brothers, they want a certain type, they're trying to, they don't want a certain type. They have noticed through their study in the universe that intelligent will creatures who operate at a certain frequency are more sturdy and valuable. It's not like they're trying to create a new type. They just realize that, a certain type lines up with the divine pattern and we see them functioning at higher levels,
I learned the craziest thing about time travel, which involves what we're talking about, time stagnation and waiting to iterate and never getting to iterate the next version of yourself, the better version. And what it was is it's actually from a book called A Course in Miracles.
Ooh,
And it's
okay.
about these like spiritual thought form lessons. And what's crazy is that it points out that by changing your thought forms, you can do the miraculous acrobatic move of time travel, and that is compressing
Oh,
time.
Hey, I
Meaning
like where you're
that
going.
when you're talking about how long does it take you to iterate the next version of yourself? How long does it take you to take that social anxiety and then push the edge to get better and release it? Like, how long does it take you? Is it you gonna wait 3 different parties to like actually activate and get outside your shell, or are you gonna wait, 6 or 10? Is it gonna take
Or
you
now.
years, or now, or is it gonna be
Recognize
now?
now and then adapt now.
And adapt now. And so what happens is when you use the willpower that you have to activate now, it's miraculous and it's time travel because it compresses the time it would have taken you
Damn, niggas
to
time
do it
traveling out here.
later.
That's fire.
And that's the definition of like faster iterative progress. And that's also reduces the amount of pity and suffering that we spend in our lower thought forms, in our lower self. We're trying to get to our highest self. Literally, some people might say to our higher self. The spirit of God in man is the highest version that we can accommodate to, that we can embody. And it's all that, like, our free will, like we just get to choose how fast we want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's up to kind of our choices, and how fast we want to iterate. How do we want to work with the universal hierarchy, which operates in its purest form, in perfection, in like an infinite form of creation that we can tap into? We just heard a scream. I think that was Mickey playing video games.
Playing the horror. Oh my God. I was like,
Yo.
what the fuck was that? We just heard a scream of horror coming from a different room.
But we got a family member is playing a horror video game, and he
told us about it before. Oh wow! I was like, what
yeah,
the fuck
my
was
anxiety is like peaking. I'm like, the aliens are
sound
here.
like D3. That's crazy. Okay, shout out to the horror video games. Good
But,
shit. Hey, we're catching a little vein right here.
The time travel, time compression. It was funny. I was in geometry class in 9th grade, and my teacher blew my mind. And I'll always remember this phrase. I think he goes, like, I forget exactly how I premised it, but he was like, I'm actually a time traveler. And then he kind of let it pause, and he's like, and you are too. We're traveling through time right now. We're going forward. And I was like, we're going forward in time. So we're time travelers. And it's like, oh, wait. Yeah, that is the definition of time travel.
Yeah.
Most people think of time travel in terms of going backwards. You know why?
Oh, interesting.
Because we're fantasizing about how we would have done our past different.
We're backwards.
We need to think about, it's not about how we do our past different. It's about how fast can we make the future better.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And the keys of Enoch. Sorry about the rumbling, guys. The keys of Enoch talks about that a lot, and it splits up 9 different time cells, or it might be 7 different time cells. It's like past, present, present, past, past, future, future, present. It's like the 7, God the sevenfold, the Holy Spirit, and he mixes past, present, and future 7 different ways, I think. And I don't know exactly where I'm getting at, but I'm trying to tie the concept into what you just kind of said by compressing time. And you're pretty much trying to get to the point where you're trying to figure out the fastest iteration of the future now. Oh, you're saying about people looking backwards. The Urantia book talks about this too. Like, non-spiritualized man only tends to look backwards, and spiritualized man tends to look forwards. So if you're listening to this right now, you can stop, look in the mirror, and self-reflect and think, do I mostly think about things in the past, like what bad things that happened in the past? Or am I mostly only focused? I'll tell you right now, I'm only laser focused on the future, dog. I can go fuck less. The past is nice, it's data, but we going forward, And don't get me wrong, I stand on, I have it written on my chest, is those who do not study the past are doomed to repeat the mistakes that they from the past. You know what I'm saying? You have to study history. So I'm not saying like fuck the past, guys. I'm saying let's not dwell on the past. Me and you, we study the past. All we do is ancient. Half our fucking videos are about ancient history and shit like that. Yeah, Minnie sneezes when she hears spiritual truth. It's crazy. That's a crazy husky, man. I bought her from a guru in Tibet, but it's like, fuck. What are they talking about?
Oh, shoot. Um,
Trying to like looking in the past
Yeah.
versus looking to the future, and I'm laser focused on looking at the future because that's like I said it already, but we're not trying to skim over the past. You must study the past to understand what's today, how current events got to where they are, how current society got to where they are, and what the future is going to behold. But that doesn't mean dwell on the past and have your entire mental perception, your entire scope, your entire lens focus backwards. Because that gets gnarly. Yeah, people get stuck in an anxiety state, a state of anxiety, where they don't know what to do in the now. So they only dwell on the past and their mistakes of the past, and they're afraid of the future. That's a real state, and that's a sad state. And we are here to help relieve that pain because we are all brothers and sisters on this planet. So we understand that. Me and him have both lived in that before. Not like we were born this way, you know, it took us time to get to this level, but I remember also dreading the future and only thinking about the past. I think I was more at the middle school era, mid low high school. I found the year after 14. But I like what you're talking about, just not thinking about the past and projecting into the future. And that is just a self-analysis state. You can kind of just self-reflect and figure out where you are. And if you find yourself thinking in the past, I mean, it's like anything. It sucks to run, right? It sucks to lift weights, right? It takes you getting up and saying, oh, even though this sucks, I'm going to pick up that weight and lift it. Even though this sucks, I don't want to run, I'm going to run. Same thing. If you find yourself thinking in the past, it sucks, but start thinking in the future today or tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, be like, I'm going to think about the future. How can I act as a vessel to help the planet in the future? And then force yourself to do actions. If you just keep forcing your mind to figure out things to do, in a month or two, you're going to have at least 3 things you're kind of putting your energy towards. So, and then in 5 years, you're going to look back and be like, if I never did that first action that hurt, I would have never got to where I am now. So I don't know how we got to this motivational state, but there was
the
vibing.
time travel stuff and the, but yeah, let's see, I was just thinking about something there. Oh yeah, it just seems so insane that there's this cycle that you can get stuck in, which is rethinking the past, overthinking the past, regretting the decisions and the version of you that you were there, and then being anxious about the future. Like, that's a double whammy, and a lot of people get just hammered by that type of thought form
Every day.
and it's like, how do you have, you don't have any moment of peace. Literally, like, if you regret the past and you're anxious about the future, then all you have is the present. And that means that it's just a question of, in the present, how often are you thinking about the past, or how often are you thinking about the future? And then it's just the time left over. That's where you can have your peace, or that's where you can have your fun or your enjoyment of life. And like, what the illusion here is that you neither have the past nor the future. You only have the present. And so if you free yourself of regret about the past and anxiousness about the future, then, and you just take the perspective of improving the now, you know, using your memory of the past,
all that data.
Now it's like you've freed up your entire schedule. Like, literally, if you were to map out the minutes of the day that you spend worrying about the past and being anxious about the future, and like you map it out, like, oh, 50% of my consciousness power goes to that.
Yeah, I call that your mental bandwidth. Like,
yes, mental bandwidth. You
X
free up
amount
that bandwidth,
Yep.
and immediately you're gonna be like, you're gonna get back your will. You have free will, but you do not have like infinite energy to just do everything. You got time, and you're time limited,
The
and you're
servers,
regulated.
the cosmic servers, they have a regulation.
Yeah, you're under a lot of limitations. The main limitation is that you're in this meat suit, the animal origin body, and that's both a major limit and like a major tool for learning. But it does cause you to require a lot of time management. And
You have to manage yourself.
yes. And yeah, so that whole energy maintenance some people call it mindfulness, but that's kind of like a modern meditation Eastern
Mindfulness.
a thing about it. But I think we just
Sounds
kind of
passive.
described it there. Like, stop regretting the past, don't be anxious about the future, and just focus on improving the now. And there's your mindfulness for the day. Just do that every day.
Yeah, and to reinforce what he's saying, some mental images that help me reinforce what he just said is that remember that celestial beings are always hovering above you and watching you. Okay? So when you're focusing in the now, it's not like this mental thought form you're trying to logically convince yourself of, like, oh yeah, the now's the moment, so I have to act in the now. No, fool. Literally, the now is now, and there's celestial beings watching you like fucking Big Brother. Are you going to represent for humanity, or are you going to make the human species look like a bunch of weak asses, So I like to step up in the now and be like, I know it sounds stupid, but like a cosmic opera, we're in a cosmic theater. We're performing for the stars. And that's why in the now, I find that energy to act, because right now, the cameras are recording. We live, like when we press live on the live stream, we think we're live. No, dude, we hit live the second you're born. When your dad fucking and your mom,
You're
live
live.
stream. You fucking went live.
You're live stream to the universe.
Exactly. So that's. I hope those mental images can reinforce what Tejila just said about living in the now. I didn't expect us to get all Eckhart Tolle on you.
Yeah, we were gonna hop on here and talk about UFOs,
UFOs, yeah. Now we're good.
But I don't know. Maybe if we were to swing it back, it's like, man, this UFO cover up. There's a lot of regret about the past and a lot of fears about how we take care of this in the future, and take everything that we said. If you're the
whistleblower,
if you're the politics person, you're operating
Deep
on the
state.
representative government level. If you're in the deep state, if you're in the military cover up, and you're like, this kind of sucks. I don't like the way these programs operate. Like, I wish it was just kind of different. It's like, literally, what should be the most inspiring thing, the fact that we are not alone, has been turned into this anxious fear battle between the past and the future. And
it really has.
we don't know how to
There is no now.
They don't know how to. Yeah, it's literally it's been cut out of the now by literally people just saying, no, this is not real.
Yeah.
Aliens do not exist. We do not have
So
UFOs.
we're stuck on like past and
We're
future.
stuck on like mistakes in the past and anxiousness about the future.
Yeah, broken
Like, oh, we
data
don't know how
points.
people are gonna handle it. All this stuff going on. Well, it's like, you don't know. You don't have that's, and you also, it's not like real data on that. All your projections about how the public can't handle the truth, like that could be totally false. Like, the human spirit will rise to the challenge of a new worldview, and yeah, it can be turbulent, but you can't. It's almost like you're trying. Like, you can only hold back the storm for so long. You can only deny that the storm exists for so long, because if it's real, if it exists in reality, it will affect you eventually. It will affect every person, whether they know it or not. Like,
And when you die and look back on your life, do you want to be looking back as, oh, I was one of the people that was silent and just let the storm keep going? Or do you want to look back and be like, no, I chose to stand up and let my brothers sisters know about these classified TR-3B anti-grav vehicles, and I'm hitting up the Legacy Planetary HQ to give them the breaking story. Fuck Ross Coolheart. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to Ross Coolheart. We're having fun. Hope you guys are tuned in. You got some chats. I see fucking paragraphs over there, and it's so far from me.
Yeah, I
can't
can read
see it.
them. I can read them from my phone. We got Stranger Michael in the chat chiming in on some of the time travel stuff. Being aware of the ever present now. Every moment is a choice for emergent fit. The flow. Talking about time travel. Okay, D-Big, what do you think of this? He says time travel is impossible. Time is longitudinal, not linear. Time is memory of choices made the scaffolding for next choice, scaled fractally. You are a U-shaped hole within universe, both choosing.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. Can you read it one more time? Because I do want to. I want to try to taste what he's saying.
He's 2 or 3 IPAs in, so now I got to read this twice to him.
Don't blame it on the IPAs, you apple.
So the main point is time travel is possible because time is longitudinal. No, is impossible because time is longitudinal, not linear. Time is a memory of choices.
Sideways?
A memory of choices.
No,
longitudinal.
up and down, not latitude. It's longitudinal, not linear. So longitude and latitude, that's up and down. So I'm getting longitude is north.
I think
south.
longitudinal more is like a location of memory. That's what I'm gathering from his comment. Not specifically the longitude or latitude.
So he's talking about like
it seems like
he's saying
coordinates,
Okay.
but it's really just the coordinates of your memory. The past only exists, I guess, in our mind.
In our minds, okay.
You could say.
Okay, so he's kind of saying what we're talking about, how time travel is kind of impossible.
Yeah, it's just there is just the now, but then there's this memory of
previous nows.
What you think is the past, and then what you're projecting about the future.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Agreed. I want to keep reading that. You lost me at the fractal part. Sorry. And then the U shape. I want to know what this U shape's about.
Okay, so time is a memory of choices made the scaffolding for next choice, scaled fractally. You are
the
wording
scaled fractally, and that's like he's adding buzzwords. All right. It's time is scaled fractally. I get it. Okay. You're right. On different dimensional levels, it functions at different paces. I think that's what he's trying to say. Okay.
Yeah,
So
scaled fractally is a bit of an abstract supporting word in the concept.
Yeah. So can you repeat the couple words before that?
Before the scaled fractally. Yeah. So time is a memory of choices made the scaffolding for next choice. I think he said like time is a memory of choices which makes the scaffolding for the next choice. Scaled fractally.
I fucking love it, dog. No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm saying I need to pick this up for my next time I talk because that's hard as fuck.
I'm sure. Yeah, we're trying to picture the fractal scaling.
Okay.
I know. Like in a fractal, you like zoom in, and then the same shape is there on every level.
You replied. I think you got a response.
Yeah. So, LOL, scaled fractally means from the plank to the cosmic heights. So as above, so below.
So, like I was right, different dimensional levels in the cosmic scheme, moving at different paces. Okay, I saw the image. I get you, brother.
Like the lessons I guess the lesson we learned here. There's another scale to it when we get to the next level.
Levels, yep.
It's like
all the way up. Yep.
You work in a social group, with your friends, and then you
go to high school, but then you
go to a job, and then you get paid to work with other people. And like your performance is based on how well you can work with other people as well, in a sense.
Yep.
And then it scales up until up in the cosmos in the afterlife, they're gonna be like, hey, this is how we operate the planets. We're actually gonna let you, the interns, run the show for a couple days. And it's like, oh snap! I guess all the lessons of our mortal experience have assembled into this moment right now.
That's the scaled fractaling. What you're talking about. All right. I like how we broke that down. Let's keep it going. Shout out to the chat.
Yeah. All the rest of the comments is Stranger Michael. So what else?
He said a U. He said something.
Oh, that last part.
Yeah.
You are a U-shaped hole within universe, both choosing.
U? Did you say like U, like the letter U?
No, you are a U-shaped hole.
Like a U, like a Dedrick-shaped hole, a Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. See, when you first said that, I
thought the letter U.
I was like, where's he getting this from? All right, I get it. I agree. The IPAs agree. Is that it? That's all the chat. Shout out to the chat.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
there's some
Michael.
more from Stranger Michael. Let me see what if anything else we have a comment on here. So the future is the best choice for all. Okay. Yeah, it's the future is the best choice for all. Even
like
though the
that.
future doesn't technically exist, we only got the present, but you're saying the next decision I'm gonna make in the present is for the future, like thinking ahead.
I agree with that statement. It's a beautiful way to put it.
Oh, I like this. For instance, when in the flow state, there is no time.
Amen. I was gonna mention flow state
Yeah.
when we were talking about that.
Our perception of time, it does get lost when we're in a flow state. That's where that phrase,
Dude, just like
time flies when you're having fun.
Disappears. Like, yeah, exactly. It's like you go through a wormhole and you appear on the other side 3 hours later. The Oz effect.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mysterious Universe.
Exactly. Yeah, I like to think of time in two different ways. There's the individual subjective perception of time, which is very loose. One is like time flies when you're having fun. That's an example. Also, time flies when you're unconscious. You fall asleep and then and then you wake up and it's just 12 hours later. Like, how do you know the universe didn't die and get reborn in that period of time?
When I'm unconscious, I'm having amazing time.
No, having fun is not the only way to compress time. Being unconscious is another way to compress time.
Okay. So there's multiple ways to compress time. I like it. This is a time travel.
So anyway, so that's one definition of time, or that's how most people experience time. Subjective perception. However, the science heads want to say that time is actually a constant in the universe.
Yeah.
And they measure it in terms of orbits. But what's crazy is that all these orbits are also like relativities based on some other energetic factor, often gravity and matter relationships.
Fields.
And also at the top of the universe before matter is consciousness. And so you can kind of argue that time is almost entirely relative. And it's always
Einstein's theory of relativity.
Your thoughts are more prevalent to time travel than anti-gravity UFOs, maybe.
Dude, Einstein was onto that.
Einstein was onto
for the theory of relativity. Remember, he talked about like when you're having fun, why does time move faster? And he even did an experiment. I think his thesis was, if I go to dinner with an ugly girl, the dinner will last longer. Literally, you can look it up. Yeah. If I go to dinner with a hot chick, it'll go by faster.
Yeah.
And he sent a letter to Charlie Chaplin because he believed his wife was he thought she was the prettiest girl.
You thought Einstein was a genius, but he's really just a player.
Player. Right? He's using his smarts to get the hottest chick on a date with him.
So we'll continue.
He wrote, you can look it up online.
Einstein literally put on a watch, and when he was with the hot girl, the watch moved faster.
He started levitating, dude. No, he sent a letter to Charlie Chaplin saying, hey, I have this experiment, and I think your wife's the most beautiful, whatever. Would you allow her to go on a date with me to see if time was relative? And he said yes. And they did it. And at the end, he wrote, yes, the date with, obviously, that woman went by so fast compared to the one he was not attracted to. And it was just an experiment to prove time is relative based off internal dispositions. So even though people think of Einstein as like the most like hardcore, like time is attached to physical movements in time and space. He also wrote many papers on the internal clock, but it was hard. He couldn't quantify it. I think that's what didn't really get it to catch on. And also he's writing letters to like hot chicks and Charlie Chaplin's wife. Like, are you really just trying to,
Mr. Chapman, for the sake of science, would you allow your wife to go to dinner with me?
Exactly.
I'm developing an E=mc² scientific theorem, but I need to understand the perceptual factor in this element for the sake of science and progress.
Yes. The experiment went well, my dear Charlie. But we must have experiment 2 where she stays the night.
And then we will truly know how fast 12 hours may become.
Exactly.
So Einstein was a dog out here. Dog eat dog world.
For real. Science and titties. That's a real experiment. Go check it out. It just shows you that time is relative. That's interesting. There's different ways to compress time. And then remember the Urantia book talks about like once you leave the self out, you can do multiple things as important as one, and it's a self element that exhausts. So I wonder if like we come into this deep physical incarnation to pick up a self ego identity kind of because it's necessary, but it's not necessary. It's an illusion. You can turn it off and kind of like flip into that.
It probably hits us kind of hard. We like when we first notice the self as a kid, like with self-awareness, and it kind of grows on us. We're like, I am me. I am the self.
This is it.
Me. Yeah, this is it. And then I get this kind of abstract concept is like, how do you remove the self? I mean, part of what we talked about is like not overthinking the past or the future to the point where it's fear and anxiety. It's a big part of it because that's like it's focusing on yourself, and it's like,
wow.
I guess that's one example.
The Einstein example is a good one. When you're with somebody who enamors you, you naturally get
it takes it off yourself, and your attention is on another self.
Now when you're like them, you're only focused on fuck this person, and time slows down.
You think about how much better. You're like, I wish I was better.
The self, and they didn't realize that.
Okay.
Break it. We're fucking. Come on, bro. You should be paying for this shit, dog.
Yo, watch him for free.
Yeah.
In the future, this will be gated.
Yep. Guess what the gate is? You got to buy a shirt. Damn. The link is in the description. I don't know about this video, but go to our about, go to the last videos. And if you're a subscriber, you know the whole deal. We got shirts, legacy shirts out there. You see it happening in real time. We were doing it video, remote. Now we're side by side, and you're about to see a side by side more legacy building coming into a city near you. But in order to help us get there, we do really need them shirty shirts. I really don't care about the money. The $9 is cool. I want to see you look fly, dog. Psych. The shirts do look fly, but that $9 will help literally other souls on planet Earth realize what we're talking about, and it will ease the burden of their life. But we don't care about making it easy for these suckers. We want them to be activated so that they could be planetary freaking super soldiers. That's why we buy a shirt. That's why we rep the planetary HQ. That's why we rep the legacy of mankind, the legacy of light upon the face of planet Earth. So you hit up those shirts, go check them out. Buy them first editions because they're going to be worth something later. And that $30 is going to be, what is it? Paying out dividends. And if you're in contact in the desert, or if you live in the area and you have a shirt, you come up to our booth, we'll sign that shit. And if you post a picture of that, you'll be in the Legacy Hall of Fame. Go check out the shirts, man. They're pretty cool. We got UFO ones, we got Legacy ones. $30 a shirt, baby. We only make a $9 profit, and that's going the mind, body, spirit progress for everybody on the face of Urantia. That's the name of planet Earth, Urantia. Or we call it Earth. So I can't believe we just dove into this fucking be here now, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra type shit. Because usually we're on the alien UFO. You didn't know we could get deep. You thought we just talked about aliens, huh? Nah, dude. We got all fronts covered. But I do want to say more about the time travel. We talked about it on other episodes, but because this is a time travel kind of centered, let's just get it out of the way. We don't believe you can travel into the past. The past only exists in memories, like the homeboy said in the paragraph. And that, like, if you were to time travel, like if I was in your memory when you were a kid, and let's say I said something stupid to you and I was a bully and you didn't like me, and then you lived for 15 years and you were like hated on fucking T-Pack was a dick. And let's say I died because I was a jackass. I ended up being a dumbass and I overdosed on heroin or some shit. Okay. and you're like, fuck D-Bake, da, da, da. I want to rewind time back and punch D-Bake in the face. But by that time, I've already died. If you were to go back in time, you'd have to like, my body had decomposed. My atoms had gotten spread around the dirt and the water. You'd have to like rip all those atoms away from where they currently are in time space and revert them back to a 15-year prior state and somehow get my soul back into the body because I have already died and I'm already on my cosmic career. You have to revert all those time space matter atoms back into that same configuration. That's impossible. You can't do that. That's breaking the laws of physics. It just doesn't work. Okay. So time, the past, only exists in your memory. It gets recorded. The cosmos records it. Planets are recorder cells. So I can access memories. I can go back to Lincoln's assassination and watch it in real time. I can go back to the first white man that made it to South America because Cortez wasn't. When he landed, did you guys know that there was already a stranded priest that had been stranded there for 20 years and had a family with the locals? So white man had made it to the Native American lands before our recorded history. We should do more episodes on that. We'll talk about that later. But all I'm saying is everything's getting recorded, and if I want to experience the prehistory, then that means I can access it in historical records, but I can't time travel to the past.
Well, you can't like change the past. Like
Okay,
like
thank
D-Bake
you.
is saying, you can
I
view
can
it like
time
a
travel to the
holographic
past, you're
thing.
right,
You
yeah.
can time travel, but you
can't
can't like change it and then come back to the present and then the timeline is different.
It's so corny, dude.
Like you might change it there and then you come back and nothing's changed and you're like, oh, maybe I changed it in that timeline, where it's like, no, it's like, I guess in some level it's like, how deep do you want to go? So let's say you're in like your 3D holographic dream space, and you go back and experience something in the past, in the far-reaching future, and like you try and change something and you feel like you changed something, but then you get back and then it's like, well, did I change something and did that affect the timeline now? Or did I affect a different timeline? Where what we're saying is we don't really think that like past alternate timelines exist.
Exactly.
You could say that there's projections, like there's estimates that some being thought about like in the past, and those kind of exist in the cosmic memory bank. Like this being was able to project 3 different outcomes, but those aren't like separate timelines that are like still running concurrently per se.
No multiverse.
And
multiverse theory extinct.
And I guess that kind of fits in like the whole, there's only kind of now, meaning all the states of matter, all the matter that exists in the universe is just happening now, and it's iterating to the next stage. Now weirdly enough, there is still like time dilation, meaning like the wormhole and gravity stuff, like in Interstellar, where the guy like comes back and his daughter is like older than him physically, but that's just because of like the rate of change inflicted by gravity zones in space over the cells in his body versus the cells in his daughter's body, and that's how she like became older. So like that's still like I guess possible in the context of relativity, like when you're traveling, or like when you're traveling at light speed. I think that also has an effect. I forget, but that wormhole, I forget how to exactly describe it, but
I don't know either. I have a hard time thinking about this concept. It's like when you're in space, when you get farther away from things, they get smaller, right? But like from a vantage point, is it like in my mind almost wants to make them microscopic, you know? So like as you get closer or as you get farther away, the revolutions look faster, but as you get closer, they start to slow down, if that makes sense.
Okay. So
I think that's what
I just had a thought is like,
right?
if you, okay, so when we're changing the rate, we can alter the rate of change in the local environment around you that sort of affects your cellular growth.
Yeah.
One example is if you cryo freeze a body to keep it like in stasis, so the cells don't die at like a consistent rate.
Okay.
And then you can like revive the body back to life. This is somewhat of a scientific concept, but we also can use this like to keep cells from dying. That's part of how and also to keep cells and bacteria from like growing in like the refrigerator. And so it kind of
blood transplant
creates a local time-space conditioning to slow and raise the rate of change in cells. And
So not only do you have to take into account sectors of gravity, you have to take into account thresholds of heat, because heat zones will also change the cellular division rate.
Yeah, so I guess, wormholes and gravity distortions can create a forward-looking time dilation, but it's not like a backwards. And this isn't like a fully fleshed out scientific theory, but I do think it fits with more of some of the, I guess, philosophy about time. It's more of a philosophical premise than it is a scientific one, because I don't know how to describe it scientifically. Somebody might know how to kind of put it in scientific terms, but that's kind of my view.
I think somehow, some way it was told to me, like, the closer you get away from a system and the farther away from a system, it's like it rotates faster or not. That's what I was describing before. So like if you take a really fast ship away from the solar system, that person on that planet will rotate around the star. Then their cells will mutate according to that age because of rotations. But because you're getting farther away from the rotations, and you can come back and that person will have done like 80 years because they rotated around the star, but you didn't do the rotation around the star. I don't fucking know, dog. Someone in the chat blow it up, because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But as you can see, we're better on the mental, spiritual aspect of time travel than the physical aspect. But now my mind's saying it doesn't matter how fast you travel away from the rotating Earth. If I travel 60 years away from the rotating Earth, my cells should still divide at the same time that yours do down here. But that's false, because of different gravity zones and different heat zones. So is that what's dictating the non-aging? You know what I'm saying? The time travel. And that's another weird thing to think about. So if I travel through a gravity zone, or let's say if I travel through an intergalactic cloud that's really cold, and it's 1 year, it takes me 1 year to travel through that cloud. If that cloud's extremely cold and I travel through it for a year, will my cells not have replicated and divided as slow? So, but your spirit is still the same age in time. So is there a time that's outside of physical time?
I think all time is just a relative measure of orbits. So you're asking about a time outside of...
So if you slow down your cellular division to increase your age, the cells are slowing down to stay alive longer, but the time it takes for the cells to slow down is still there. Your soul still is alive for that long. You get what I'm trying to say? Like if I could somehow like flash freeze you right now, but keep you alive for 50 years, your cells would stay at this state for 50 years.
Yeah.
And then in 50 years, I wake up your cells, but you had been conscious the entire time.
I was conscious.
Yeah, so there's still time going on in between that. But when I wake your cells up, it looks like they were picked up from 50 years ago. Like they time traveled. You're able to slow down time. Like those age people who they think that you can live longer by slowing down the rate of division of your cellular division. But is that really a cheat code? Because there's still time going on. You know what I mean? Like time in the cosmos is still passing, even though your cells are frozen. You know what I'm saying? And that's funny. Alec Nito, he brought up a weird extra Urantia book website a long time ago that talked about that the rebel physical ETs were able to flash freeze their bodies in order to prevent like cosmic progress and universe adjudication, so they could like stop the Lucifer rebellion, the Gabriel court case, by flash freezing their bodies.
Is it like the controlling their own reincarnation kind of thing?
Yeah,
like they're transferring consciousness to another body,
and they're
is it like that,
preventing it from happening, so they freeze themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
In stasis.
He came up with some weird shit, and I was like, oh, that's trippy. so they can like prolong the adjudication by freezing themselves because they won't wake up because they have to be awake in order to be at the court case. You know?
Speaking of being awake,
Time to pass out.
I passed the threshold. So I'm like 10, 15,
Okay.
about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. I feel it. I feel it. I think we did hit some golden nuggets tonight. That was a great episode. A lot better than the last one, even though our brother Drew is here and he will hopefully be here tomorrow. But yeah, we killed it. Time travel, baby. UFOs are real. Contact in the Desert coming at you live. We will do a live stream from there, and we'll probably do another one tomorrow. So stay tuned, baby. Take this journey with us. We love you guys, and hit that subscribe button. Peace.